On today's Rebel's Edge, port strike pounding shipping stocks. How long can it last and what will the impact be on the supply chain? Oil spikes on the threat of a ballistic missile strike from Iran directly on Israel. And Pinterest pops as it's added to Goldman Sachs' conviction list. Stocks flying on that news. All that and a special co-host coming up on today's Rebel's Edge. Hey, folks, welcome to the Rebel's Edge. As you've probably figured out by now, you have neither Pete nor John Najarian hosting the show today, but don't touch that dial. You've got me, Mark Lopresti, CEO and Senior Market Strategist of Market Rebellion, and that handsome devil to my right, my left, sorry, magic of television always confusing me, is none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Justin Nugent. You know him from the Rebel Roundup. That's our daily must-read newsletter. You know him also from 3 at 3. Justin's going to be joining us live on stage on the October 11th Mastermind. We're going to be talking about that. Justin, it is great to have you on the Edge today.
Mark, it's great to be here. Oh, you think I'm special? That makes me so happy.
Listen, man, as I said to you when we were in the virtual green room here, you're on because our subscribers and fans keep asking for more of you. So we got to give the fans what they want. Well, listen, we got a lot to cover today. All kinds of news, lots and lots of macro news. Of course, we have the strike on all of the East Coast and the Gulf ports. Pretty significant. First strike of its kind at this level in decades, and some pretty fiery words coming from the head of that labor union. They're looking for, I think, a 60+% increase in their wages. A number of the larger international shipping lines getting hit fairly hard today. How long do you think this thing's going to last, Justin, and what could the impact be on markets?
I think probably the impact gets relegated to what we're seeing today outside of like very specific industries. I don't think it actually lasts that long. Last night, we saw some movement on the talks. We saw I believe the Maritime League come out and say that both sides have been moving from where they started. That's a good sign. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I saw that they were asking for was not just the, I believe, 61% pay increase, but the no automation agreement, which is it's going to be interesting. We'll see if they move on that.
Robotics representing an existential threat. There's a lot of ports in other parts of the world, particularly in the Middle East and Dubai, that have automated almost as much as humanly possible. Some of the stocks that we're watching on this news: JB Hunt, Knight Swift Transportation, RXO, and Expeditors International, EXPD. And then, of course, we've got oil spiking on this rather terrifying threat, and confirmed from the White House that Iran is imminently launching a ballistic missile directly on Israel that would, of course, represent the most significant escalation in unrest in that part of the world in a very long time. Pray that does not happen, and prayers for those in harm's way. Of course, how much of this do you think's baked into the price of oil?
It's interesting. Oil was trading higher than this not so long ago. It's spiking right now. To answer whether it's fully priced in or not, I think we'll have to see what the outcome is if it goes like the last retaliatory strike, because Iran has said, hey, we don't actually want to escalate things. Right. I don't think that they will. So I feel like maybe this will hopefully, for all people involved, this will result in a bunch of missiles getting shot down, ideally, and then things kind of go back to the way that they are now, which is bad, but not the end of the world.
I certainly hope you're right. We're going to hit fantastic futures just very quickly because we had so much macro. I think we probably blew through the minute limit on the macro minute. I was looking at gold continuing to go higher and hearing from our friends over at some of the hedge fund prime desks, and confirmed by the folks that track this stuff at the CFTC, that hedge funds and other institutions' bullish bets on gold have reached the highest level in almost 5 years, indicating that, to me, notwithstanding gold is high as it is, that it could go even higher. And all right, that's it for Fantastic Futures. Let's get into the stocks that we have to cover. The first one, Justin, Pinterest. As I noticed, or as I teased in the cold open, Pinterest was added to Goldman's conviction list, America's conviction list, which is a pretty strong endorsement typically of the potential of a stock. This comes with a buy rating and a price target of 46. Goldman is anticipating continued growth in sales in the mid to high teens. Stock was up about 3.5% in the pre. And it looks like this thing could go maybe even a little bit higher and getting some love on social media. What do you think of this name, Justin?
Yeah, totally. With the economy expanding as it is, I think that's great for ad spend. I think we've seen some UOA that is still active in Pinterest looking for long dated calls here. I'd have to look at what the exact strikes and expirations were. And it's actually having a good impact on the rest of social media stocks as well. On today, bad price action, but what do we see? We see Meta's up, at least the last I looked. So I like it. I like Pinterest.
Yeah, it's interesting how it evolved from sort of just a platform for posting pictures of people's interior designs to them actually coming up with a strong monetization strategy. The stock is up just under 1% as we're live right here. Let's now get into some EV stocks. NIO reporting very strong delivery results for September and the third quarter of this year. 35% year-over-year increase. That's about 21,000 vehicles from its premium brand and about just under 1,000 from its quote-unquote family-oriented brand. This is very interesting. This is one of those EV stocks. Pete and I talk about these names a lot. It's about the balance sheet. It's about the staying power. It's about the ability for these companies to be able to get to profitability, to be able to get to the point of scale where they're not losing substantial sums of money when they sell every one of these cars. I'm following this curiously. I'm not necessarily ready to jump on the NIO bull train. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I actually love NIO a lot. I think they have so much going for them. First of all, we talked about the port strike, right? That's impacting a lot of U.S. automakers. That's Eastern Port specifically receives a lot of auto parts, a lot of business from different automakers here. Obviously, NIO mostly works in China. It's not going to hit them that hard. They got this big, almost $2 billion cash injection yesterday that helped the stock a ton. And oh, by the way, if we're looking at stocks that are way off their highs, you can look at NIO back in January. They moved the whole decimal point over. They're around $6 right now. They were in the 60s in January of 2021. So a lot of room to the upside. Don't think that they'll go up there anytime soon, but it's a high beta name with relatively cheap options. So I like it a lot.
2 billion shares trading in September, which I think was the highest level either ever or certainly in the past few years. Do you think this one benefits from all of this China stimmy that everybody's talking about and has all these Chinese ETFs going higher even today?
Yeah, I mean, I think anything attached to China is kind of like being an AI name in 2023, right? It doesn't matter whether it benefits right now. Right now, they're just pricing it in. They're like, let's buy it all. So, yeah, I think it's going to benefit for now the next time that we get some sort of positive economic news from China.
And this company, like the next one, relies primarily on its domestic sales versus imports here into the United States. So let's talk about another EV name, Li Auto, reporting very robust delivery figures. Another strong report coming out of a Chinese EV manufacturer, with about 54,000 of these vehicles being delivered. That's a year-over-year increase of almost 50%. That is pretty significant. The company has delivered a total of 340,000 vehicles in 2024, bringing its total delivery of cars to just under 1 million. Yeah, that certainly starts to sound like scale to me. Obviously, the stock price is responding very favorably to the news. Not sure if we had unusual in this one. Any thoughts on Li?
Yeah, I don't know that we have had any unusual, at least none that's active right now. Wise held up pretty well. They're responding a lot better than Nio did to all of its news. I think it's up something like 6% right now, up
Yeah, almost 9.
8.5%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean that's huge. I think it benefits from the same stuff we just talked about with Nio. It's cool. It was a meme stock once upon a time. It's good that they've gotten their business into good working order.
Yep. But and again, for me, it's all about the strength of those balance sheets and having the ability to weather different economic storms and conditions. This one could also benefit from all of this Chinese stimulus talk, no doubt about that. Justin, I know we want to talk about the SPY, and you've got some special intel that you want to cover for us. So I want to turn this over to you and give us your thoughts on the action that's been going on in the SPY recently.
Yeah, whether you trade the SPY or not, I just think it's really good to keep an eye on where it is and where it's going because it has such a big impact on the broad market. If we're dumping and you are looking for long positions, you might find those long positions a bit cheaper when the SPY is moving lower. So on the 19th, we had seen the big breakout finally. I believe Mark and John had called it a bull ballet rather than a bull rally because it was just a little red candle there, not a strong breakout, but it was above that old all-time high. And we said, hey, we're looking for a little bit of upside, a retest of that old all-time high. And then as long as that confirms, as long as we hold that low, we're going to look for more upside into that $600 EOY price target that we've been talking about basically all year. Then yesterday, we caught some UOA in this name, and we were like, this is the perfect time to move. Yesterday, it's green day, big green candle. I think we ended at, the highest closing price in history. And yet we were seeing this UOA hit the tape in the 553 puts. This is part of a big put spread. Now, in 3 at 3 Pro, which is why you need 3 at 3 Pro, by the way, we shifted this strike up a ton because we know that 565 is really all we're looking for here. If we get some big continuation, we'll shift this down. But right now, 571 to 565 was the spread that we chose to take. And now here we are. We tested down to the mid 566s today. And that's the max profit area of that spread. These are out in October, so not all that far away. If we get a little bit more time spent here or any more downside, we'll probably look to take profit on this. And that's because we think that ultimately this probably holds this former all-time high, and we probably move higher from here.
Well, fantastic. And congratulations to everybody that's in those services. Obviously, this is part of why following you away and 3 at 3 and things like that are so important. Well, so next up on the list is NFE, New Fortress Energy. This is a really interesting name that, man, has had all kinds of crazy price action in it. This is an energy company that tries to bring energy availability to underserved communities. Certainly sounds like a noble cause. And this is one that we had quite a bit of, I think, bearish UOA in the name. They announced today that they are delaying a dividend plan until they can reach an agreement with their note holders to address near-term maturities and liquidity requirements. Don't call it a restructuring, although it kind of sounds like that one. Stock is up 17, almost 18% on this news. Justin, tell us what's going on with New Fortress Energy.
Yeah, 17, 18% sounds really, really nice until you click that YTD button on this stock and see that it was $37 starting the year. And you start to say, okay, noble cause, but often noble is not profitable, right? We saw bearish UOA in this when it was trading in the 13s. I have it circled here on this left side. In the 14 strike puts expiring this October 18th. We actually got out before this big pump today, and that's just yet another reason why 3 at 3 Pro is such a great tool to be able to follow the smart money in a way that says we're not just going to buy whatever they're buying and stay until the expiration. We're going to lean on the guidance from people who are watching the charts of all these stocks every day, who are saying, hey, all right, now the profit's there. Let's take it before this thing squeezes 18% higher on some random headline like this.
This one very well could be a short squeeze. That's why you got to be so careful with some of these names. And I'm going to tease it one more time, but you got to be there on October 11th for the announcement. We've got a cure for that, so you can understand exactly what's going on and short interest in these names. All right, Justin, we're not going to do sports today because we don't have Pete or John, and to my knowledge, neither you or I were in the NFL or any other major professional league, historically speaking. And I don't think the viewers want to hear much about my terrible golf game. So we're going to use this time to do a little bit of shameless promotion. So we have got, of course, producer Jared, I know, has the tile that he can pull right up. We have the October 11 Rebel Mastermind event. There it is. We've only got about 12 tickets left. We've sold out the VIPs completely, which is remarkable. We have the executive level tickets that are available, but that gives you access to the full day of live trading, starting, of course, with Steve Kalajian and the Rebel setup, which we'll be doing live during breakfast. Then we're going to go into a pre-market pep rally with myself, Pete, John, and the great and legendary Liz Klayman. Liz is going to be with us all day, folks. She's going to be emceeing the event with me, trading alongside us, having a cocktail or two during the cocktail hour or cocktail 2 hours from 4 to 6 on that day. We're going to have book signings of It's Not an Option, as well as the favorite Follow the Smart Money book. We're also going to have book signings from Larry McDonald, who will be on stage during the lunch fireside chat moderated by Liz Klayman, along with General Anthony Tata, who's also a best-selling author. And if that wasn't enough for you, we've also got financial news luminary and longtime friend of me, Pete, and John, Charlie Esparino. So Charlie's going to be there with us that day. And he's going to be signing copies of his best-selling book, Go Woke, Go Broke. Don't want to miss that one. So if you haven't already grabbed one of the remaining tickets, please do. Justin, you're going to be there too. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be teaching and the knowledge you're going to be dropping that day.
Yeah, we're going to be talking 3 at 3, and more than just teaching how we use the smart money in our favor and how we follow UOA. We're going to be trying to give out trade ideas live that day at 3, just like we do for members in our service. We're going to be talking about how we pick through the feed. We're probably going to look at the whole feed for the day so that we can show you how we sift through and pick out the very best trade ideas that we can. Talk about how we manage them. Hopefully we all make a little bit of money.
I love it. I love it. Don't miss it. We're also going to have a special appearance from our business partner, Grant Cardone. I'm wearing the Cardone colors today as a shout out to Grant and his team and the partnership that we're enjoying. Folks, the Rebel's Edge will be back again tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern with Pete and John. If you happen to be near a TV at 3:40 p.m. Eastern time today, you can catch me on the American Agenda on Newsmax. I'll be live in studio with them in just a couple of hours talking about the day's events, what's going on overseas. There you go. There's a great little promo image there. Thank you, producer Jared. Appreciate that. I'll be on with the American Agenda again on Friday of this week, live, same time. It's the C Block 3:40 segment, Eastern time on Newsmax as well. Thanks to our friends at Schwab for having Pete on yesterday. And we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern time on the Rebel's Edge. Justin, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Mark.